Hey everybody, so my name is Kimberly and I'm the owner and operator of the Stick Brand LLC. And today we're going to be talking about financing a vehicle. So a lot of times we want a new vehicle or we need a new vehicle because our current vehicle has broken down on us, or the vehicle that we have, every time we make repairs, is starting to cost more if we were to continue to repair that vehicle compared to if we were to purchase a new one. So we would rather purchase a new vehicle rather than, continuing to put so much money into a used vehicle, which is, totally understandable for the most part. So when financing a new vehicle, most people do not have $25,000 to $30,000 sitting around that can be put into a vehicle. If you do have $25,000 to $30,000, then that's probably for a savings, for a college savings, for you to help pay your bills that you might have other than a car payment, and you probably need that money for something else. And so the best option would probably be financing through a bank. So getting a loan from a bank or a loan from a credit union or some other source. And when understanding financing, you understand that you're going to be on a payment plan for probably 3 years or more. And usually, people, when they finance a vehicle, they used to try to finance it between 5 and 6 years. You can finance it for longer, but 5 and 6 years for financing a vehicle at a pretty good rate is pretty typical for most people. But a lot of people don't understand that you should definitely check out your financing options before you go to the dealership. And you want to check out your financing options before you go to the dealership because of a number of reasons. So the first reason is, a lot of times once you tell the dealer, what your credit score is, they begin to run your credit report. They run your credit a number of times. So a lot of times you think that the dealer will run your credit, like once or twice, but sometimes they'll run your credit 7 times to get you the best interest rate, or because banks will turn you down depending on what's on your credit. So if you know anything about credit, the more they, run your credit, the more your credit score goes down. And that's not necessarily a good look of what you want on your credit, especially if you plan to, use your credit in a couple months for something else that, is super important to you. Also, a lot of times you will not get the best interest rate at the dealership. And I had to learn that the hard way. For instance, recently, I really needed a vehicle because my vehicle was acting up, and I kind of didn't, do what I'm telling you all. And I went to the dealer, and they gave me an interest rate of 6.97. And for the most part, that's a pretty good interest rate, for a dealer. However, it totally slipped my mind to even go to my credit union to see, like, okay, let's see how much they can, loan me towards my credit. So I end up, refinancing later on down the road. But the first thing I should have did was definitely go to my credit union or my bank that I have a relationship with, and you know go that route to see what they could loan me rather than just running straight to the dealer. And so I have 3 tips for you all today of what you should do when you are considering to finance a new or used vehicle. First thing first, understand what your credit score is. Don't be iffy, or don't let that be a mucky thing. Understand your credit score. When you understand your credit score, you understand the power that you have. Now, it is true, the higher your credit score, the more options you would have. If you have a lower credit score, then you might want to consider some other options. You definitely want to go with your bank. You definitely want to see what your credit union has to offer you, because the rate that you might get from the dealership might be much higher than what your bank might be willing to loan you because of the relationship that you have with that bank or credit union. The second thing I would say about understanding your credit score is that you need to understand the things that you have to pay. So a lot of times, if you have like an okay credit score, they'll get you an okay payment, or a payment that's within a price range that you're comfortable with paying for. However, sometimes you might not have the best credit, and so your payments might be a little higher. And even though it might sound all well and fine, you have to sit here and think about other things that you have to pay for the car. So not only do you have to pay for the car payment, but you have to think about the car insurance that you have to put on the vehicle. You have to think about the maintenance of the vehicle. You have to think about the gas. Think about if you own a house, or if you're renting from somewhere. understanding what else you have to pay besides that will definitely help you when you are financing your vehicle, and financing that whole process of, should you go with the dealership or should you go with the bank or credit union. Also, understand your interest rate. As I have said earlier already, it's important for you to understand the interest rate that you can get at your bank, at your credit union, and at the dealership. For the most part, most banks will tell you that if you go with a dealership, you probably will pay more for your interest rate. You probably will. Now, I will use myself for an example because, like I said, a couple months ago, I made the mistake of, getting my vehicle and financing it right through the dealership. And I got a 6.97 interest rate. I went to my credit union for some other things, and she was like, "Oh, do you have a vehicle?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, right now, you can refinance your car with us with a 2.99 rate." And I was pretty much skeptical at first because I'm like, I don't want to refinance. I don't want to go through that whole process of having my credit pulled, this, that, and the third. And then I went home and I Googled, refinancing and how much I would save. And based off of everything that I did and all the research, I found out that I could pay off my car 2 years faster. 2 years faster if I were to refinance with my bank. And so what I'm trying to tell you all is that before you go into your dealership, before you sit here and try to finance through them, definitely go with your bank or your credit union. I would say personally, go with your credit union because credit unions are smaller, so you know the people in there. It's more of a community feel. But if you don't have a credit union, if you have a bank, try to go through them because a lot of times, if you know the tellers and if you have a good, credit report, if they know more about you, if they know your history, it might be easier to go ahead and finance through them. However, use the dealership as the last option. Don't let them be the first option. Don't let them be the second option. Use them as your last option. If you need a vehicle like today, and those are the only people that are willing to go ahead and give you that vehicle for a certain amount, go ahead and get it. And then if you can, just try to do some research, try to contact a bank, begin a relationship with the bank if you don't have it, and just go that route of refinancing. I mean, a lot of times you don't want to necessarily do that because you have to pull your credit again, but it's worth it down the road. Like I said, I did it, and now based off everything that's projected, I'll pay my car 2 years faster with my credit union financing my vehicle compared to when the dealer had it. And also, a lot of times, like I said, you have that relationship with those individuals, and a lot of times with relationships, that goes further than you just being a number to another financial institution. So, hopefully, you'll use these tips. This is abbreviated. This is an abbreviated version of this course that I teach about financing. If you like what you see, if you like what you've heard, and you want to hear more, definitely sign up for one of my webinars. Contact me, and I'll be happy to come out to your school, to your church, whatever the case might be, and do an actual class for you all. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks.